Do you know what to do if you're being followed? Take our quiz on safety tips to see how well you're prepared. You're taking the quiet, empty street home after a long day at work. Suddenly, you hear footsteps behind you. You turn into another street, but the footsteps are still following you. What should you do? No worries, I got you. First off, you gotta make sure the person is really following you and not just going home in the same direction. How are you gonna do it? There can be more than one correct answer here. A. Try walking a bit faster to check if they're trying to catch up with you. B. Casually stop, pretending you're looking for something in your pocket, or have a shoelace to tie. C. Stop abruptly and ask the person, "Why are you following me?" D. Try to make a couple of turns to get to your starting position. If the person circles the area with you, they must be after you. Options A, B, and D are correct. And, of course, you shouldn't confront whoever's following you. So, it's obvious that the stranger is following you. Don't panic. You'll need a sharp mind to lose them. And this group of people over there might help you. What should you do now? A. Yell help as loud as you can and run to them. B. Approach them and ask them to walk you home. C. Pretend that you know them. Say hey as they're walking past you and explain the situation and ask them to walk you to a public area from where you can get a taxi or go home to ask your friends to pick you up. D. All of the above options are okay. The only correct answer here is C. It's too dangerous to scream in an empty street before you reach the people or show the stalker where you live. They might come back the next day. Now, imagine the street is absolutely empty and you have no one to ask for help. It means you gotta move to a busy street as soon as possible. What should you not do on your way there? There are two correct answers here. A. If you're wearing a hoodie, tuck the hood into your sweater to hide it. B. Let your hair down if you wear it in a ponytail or bun. C. Take your phone and pretend you're texting someone or browsing the internet. D. Pat your pockets, pretending you've lost your wallet. E. Start walking fast in the direction of your stalker. The two correct answers here are C and E. You shouldn't take your phone out because the light on the screen will make it harder for your eyes to adjust to the dark. Looking through your phone will also slow you down. You should walk in the opposite direction of your stalker, of course. As for A and B, it'll be harder for your followers to grab your entire set of hair or pull your clothes if they have nothing to hold on to. While walking in the direction of a busy street, pay attention to every detail around you. Notice the street name and house numbers, and remember the stores and buildings around you. You might need this later, but what should you do about the person following you? A. Don't look at them at all. It's dangerous. B. Avoid eye contact by all means. C. Try to seem as small as you can and keep your chin down to show how scared you are. D. Turn around and look at your follower and remember every detail about them, their clothes, eye color, height, and approximate age. The correct answer here is D, of course. You need to study the follower in detail to be able to give an accurate description of them later. Establishing eye contact will send them the "I see you" message. Your confidence will make them really uncomfortable and probably even make them reconsider their plans. Going after someone who has their head up takes a lot of courage, and pursuers aren't usually that brave. Okay, not to freak you out or anything, but what if that creepy person approaches you and asks for something? What should you do in this case? There will be more than one correct answer here. A. Keep consistent eye contact. B. Engage in a conversation with them. If they ask you how to get somewhere, explain it in every detail. C. If you're carrying books or shopping bags, be ready to drop them as soon as you feel something's off. D. Don't stay quiet. Make a fuss as you try to leave and yell "fire" instead of "help." Okay, Here, all the answers except for B are correct. You should just briefly say, "I don't know," to whatever question they ask you. And about that fire thing, people react to that word more often than a call for general help. For extra safety, get your keys out and place them in your palm with the key's teeth sticking out through your fist. If worse comes to worst, you'll have something pointy to defend yourself with so you can get away. When you manage to escape from your stalker, get your phone out and call the police. Now you'll need all those details about your whereabouts and the person following you. What if you notice someone following you in public? They stop at every store you go to, pretend to check the phone every time you do the same, and follow you step by step. What should you do then? There will be more than one correct answer here. A. If your jacket is of a different color from your shirt, take your coat off. The follower might lose you in the crowd. B. Walk into a restaurant or coffee shop, head straight to the bathroom and stay there for 5 to 10 minutes. Your follower might just leave. C. Start screaming to draw everyone's attention. Let them all panic. D. Get in the line, order something, and casually let one of the staff members know someone is following you. Panic has never helped anyone, so C is the only wrong answer here. You should just inform the staff there's a problem and let them keep an eye out for you. Then, you sit down with your order and message your friends or family that you need them to come and take you home or keep you company. Let's imagine a different scenario. Someone might be following you by car. You slow down and they slow down. You turn right and they follow you. You speed up and they do the same. But still, you gotta be sure they're after you. How will you do it? A. Stop abruptly while passing by the traffic lights. B. Roll down your window and scream, "Help." C. Drive home immediately. If the car follows you, it's clearly not a coincidence. D. Make 3 right turns around the block. The correct answer here is D. A won't work out because you don't want to get into an accident, do you? B is just a bit silly. And C is a big no-no. You should never let the pursuer know where you live. Even if you get inside safely today, they might wait for you there the following day. D makes sense because no one will aimlessly go in circles around the neighborhood for no reason. Okay, so unfortunately, you're now 100% sure you've got unwanted company. What will you do next? There will be 2 correct answers here. A. Don't let them get you cornered. B. Drive to the busy roads. C. Try to establish contact with the pursuer. D. Stop moving and get out of the car. A and B are what you should do. You always need to have some room for maneuvers, and it's easier to escape on a busy road. Don't let the pursuer know you're aware of them. They might distance themselves from you, and it will be more difficult for you to remember the important details about them. Don't get out of your vehicle, lock all the doors, and roll up the windows. If they're still following you, call the police using hands-free tech, drive into a car wash, and call from there, or drive directly to the nearest police station. So, if you answered at least 5 of the questions correctly, you're all good. You won't panic, as you know exactly what to do when someone is following you. If you had difficulty answering the questions, you might want to revise the safety tips from our videos.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.
Hey screamers and full-time trick-or-treaters! I have the ultimate horror movie challenge for you. I'll give you some random information about the plots of the movies and shows. And you will have to guess their names. Now grab your quill and grimoire to write down your scores. Give yourself a candy point if you know the answer, and a slap on the face. No point if you don't. Let's begin. In this movie, the main characters and their kids are accompanied by 4 singing busts while searching for the mausoleum. Can you tell me which movie this is? And here's a hint. It has the word haunted in it. It's Disney's The Haunted Mansion, which was released in 2003. You can also find the ride attraction of this movie at Disneyland. And actually, the movie is based on the ride and not the other way around. In this movie, the neighbor of the main character scares children away from his front yard and confiscates their belongings. Do you know its name? It's the 2006 animated movie Monster House. One of its screenwriters received a letter about how this movie is nightmare-inducing. Well, you'll have to watch and decide for yourself if you haven't yet. In this movie, the main character travels into a world where all the creatures have buttons instead of eyes. Which movie is this character from? It's the 2009 stop-motion movie Coraline, which was based on the Neil Gaiman book of the same name. If you haven't watched it yet, here's some advice. Don't be tricked by it being an animation. Think twice before watching it with any kids around, because I guarantee that it'll give you the heebie-jeebies. In this movie, a zombie falls in love with a living human girl and does everything he can to protect her. Do you know it? It's Warm Bodies, which was released in 2013 and based on a novel. By the way, it's also a romantic comedy movie, so you can watch it on Valentine's Day too. It's a win-win for partners with different film tastes, am I right? In this movie, David Bowie steals a baby. Do you know the name of it? This movie is called Labyrinth, and it was released in 1986. Since it's an old one, don't beat yourself up if you don't know it. But David Bowie sings with puppets in it, so it's a good fit for the pumpkin season. This one is not a movie. It's a mini-series, and in it, one of the characters wears a teapot on his head and has a pet frog. Do you know its name? It's Over the Garden Wall. This 10-episode animated show aired in 2014, but it quickly became a classic. This movie's antagonist is a bioexorcist, and his name consists of two words, a bug and a drink. Can you guess the movie? It's Tim Burton's 1988 movie, Beetlejuice. Here's some great news for its fans. Earlier this year, it was announced that there's going to be a sequel to it. This movie is about a vampire who returns to his ancestral home after being imprisoned for almost 200 years, only to find out his dysfunctional descendants need his help. Do you know its name? Another movie by the Gothic director Tim Burton. This one is called Dark Shadows, and it was actually based on a television soap opera of the same name. In this movie, a boy has to lift a 300-year-old witch's curse to save his town, despite the fact that everyone in it thinks he's crazy. Can you tell me what this movie is? It's the 2012 animated stop-motion movie Paranorman, which is actually produced by the same company that made Coraline. In this movie, a boy is turned into a mouse by the leader of a witch coven. Do you know its name? This movie, which is based on a Roald Dahl novel, is called The Witches, and it actually has two versions. The first one was made in 1990, and the second one was made in 2020. Since I'm feeling generous, you can give yourself an extra point if you knew this information. In this movie, a boy must tell scary stories to a witch every night in order to survive. Can you guess its name? It's the 2021 movie called Night Books. In this movie, monsters, which are actually characters from books, come to life, and the author of the books must stop them with the help of a few teenagers before they wreak havoc upon their town. Can you tell me its name? It's the 2015 movie Goosebumps, which is based on the horror book series of the same name, written by Robert Lawrence Stein. So you've made it to question number 13. It's time to take things up a notch on the scary meter then. In this movie, a group of counselors try to reopen an abandoned summer camp with a grim past. Tell me its name. Come on, I know you know this. It's nothing other than the 1980 movie Friday the 13th, of course. You know what the funny thing is? The Friday the 13th franchise actually consists of 12 movies as of today. This movie follows a young pregnant woman with peculiar neighbors, whom she thinks have sinister intentions for her baby. Do you know the name of it? Psychological horror, everyone? It's the 1968 movie Rosemary's Baby, the movie which its producers thought to be cursed due to some tragic events that took place while filming it. In this movie, after hearing some unfortunate news, a woman and her family begin to discover terrifying secrets about their ancestry. Vague much? But you can tell me its name if you're a true horror fan. It's the 2018 movie Hereditary. By the way, did you know that its director pitched this movie as a family drama? Talk about marketing skills, am I right? Do you think your life is more like work hard, play hard, or like all work and no play? If your answer is the latter, then which movie's antagonist feel the same way as you? The movie that uses the all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy proverb is Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, which was based on the Stephen King novel of the same name. If you were a character in this movie, you would have to live in complete silence to be able to survive. Can you name the movie? It's the 2018 post-apocalyptic movie A Quiet Place, with a sequel released in 2021. Shh. In this movie, a group of losers have to destroy a shape-shifting sewer monster. What movie is it? It's the 2017 movie It. Just like The Shining, this one is also a Stephen King novel adaptation. Here's another mini-series question for you. This one is about 5 siblings who eventually have to flee the house they were trying to renovate. Do you know which series this is? This 10-episode miniseries is The Haunting of Hill House, and it's actually the first installment of the Haunting Anthology series. How about we end things on a higher note, so that you'll still be able to sleep in the dark? In this last movie, there's a giant plant that sings to be fed. Do you know it? It's Little Shop of Horrors, which was adapted by an off-Broadway musical, which itself was adapted by the 1960 movie of the same name. Now, let's see how well you did. If you have 0 to 5 candy points, you're a ghost, because nobody can see you anywhere near the movie theater. If you have 6 to 10 candy points, you're a zombie, because you're slow when it comes to catching up with movies. If you have 11 to 15 candy points, you're a werewolf who once in a while misses a movie due to nights with the full moon. If you have 16 to 21 candy points with an extra point included, you're a vampire who drinks every movie in.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.